Out here, we don't settle for starvation. Instead, we feast. I've been roaming these streets for a little over a year now, looking for anything to fill the void. But the more I take, the emptier I get. Flesh, blood, screams. Nothing satisfies. The hunger's become something else, something darker. After I had gotten out of Blackfield, things have been very confusing. Sometimes I can't tell what's real and what's not. Every day, the visions get worse. Soon, I wouldn't be able to tell reality from my nightmares. But after what I went through back in Nam, could you really blame me? I was forced to eat my best friend while in some stinking hole 25 feet below the ground. All that remains of him are the memories and his skull. I wear it because it's all I have left. Benny is still here with me. I can hear his voice, and he's telling me to eat. My taste for human flesh has not abated. My sanity has not returned. I spend my nights racing through the streets of Harbor City, searching for my next meal. In recent years, I think I may have began to realize my true destiny, to become the Grim Reaper. But I knew deep down it wasn't real. The scythe, the cloak, the power, it was all just something I told myself. A story to keep me going when the hunger gnawed too deep. Just another twisted fairy tale to distract me from the truth. I ain't death. I'm just a broken man, running from memories that won't quit and a hunger that never fades. But the thing about delusions, you live in them long enough, they start to feel real. And the lines, they blur. You can't tell what's the nightmare and what's just another rainy night on these streets. I knew I'd never be the Grim Reaper. No man could. But even knowing that, it didn't stop me from hoping. Until one night, he appeared.
Ah, Mr. Grimm, still haunted by the hunger, I see.
Calypso. He's the reason I'm out here, free to ride these streets again. I spent 30 years locked in a padded room at Blackfield. 30 years of doctors and orderlies trying to stitch my broken mind back together. They thought they could fix me, but they couldn't. Could they, Benny? Calypso drifts into places like a ghost, leaving his mark on everyone he touches. And then, just like that, he's gone. Like he was never there. But the damage sticks with you forever. Calypso ain't just a man. No, he's something else. Like a storm wearing a human face, blowing through towns, leaving nothing but chaos and ruin in his wake. Some folks think he's the devil. Me? I think he's worse than that. The devil just wants your soul. But Calypso, he wants to see how far you'll fall to get what you want.
It seems you've been busy since your release, Mr. Grimm, roaming the streets, indulging, and still chasing that impossible dream of yours. But dreams, you see, are only as real as the people who believe in them.
Dreams don't fill the void, Calypso. No matter how much I consume, the hunger just gets louder. It never ends.
Perhaps not, unless of course you play my game. Win, and that dream of yours might finally become reality.
What are you selling, Calypso?
I'm offering you what you've always wanted, what you've whispered to yourself in the dead of night, when the hunger felt unbearable. A chance to become what you believe you were born to be, the Grim Reaper.
Are you serious?
Dead serious. Win my contest, and the scythe, the cloak, and the power will be yours.
And if I lose?
You're already lost, Mr. Grimm. The only question is, how much further can you fall?
All right, I'll play your game. But if you're lying, I'll be taking your soul too.
Very well then. Now get going. Your first battleground is the Harbor City Ghetto.
I told myself I wasn't gonna do this again. But the hunger don't care what I promised. It gnaws at my insides like a fire I can't put out. And now Calypso's dangling the only thing I ever really wanted. The only thing I still believe in. After all these years, I thought I knew what I was. A soldier, a survivor, a monster. But deep down, I always knew what I really wanted to be. The Grim Reaper, death on two wheels, harvesting the souls of the damned, riding free with no more hunger, no more pain. Let's ride, Benny. We have a contest to win. War, it changes a man. But the war I'm fighting now, it's definitely something else. After I destroyed that monstrosity, the explosion let out a violent eruption of fire, sending a toxic plume of gas into the air. Caught off guard, I took in a lungful of the noxious fumes, coughing as my vision blurred and the world around me began to warp. The smoke wrapped around me like a snake in the jungle, and in the chaos, a familiar ghostly figure emerged. It was Benny, looking all mangled and torn, just like the day he died. His face was pale, his eyes were haunted yet strangely calm, and his voice was like a whisper carried in the wind.
Grimm, you remember, don't you? Back in Vietnam, when you ate me.
Next thing I knew, a flood of memories came rushing back. The sounds of gunfire, the screams of men, the suffocating heat of Vietnam. Shortly after we had been captured by the Vietnamese, we both found ourselves in some stinking hole, 25 feet below the ground. We were both broken and bloodied, trapped in enemy hands. The air was thick with the scent of mud and decay. While we suffered in that hole, all we could hear was the sounds of distant gunfire echo like ghosts in the night. Benny was slumped up against a wall, his face pale and twisted with pain, his breathing shallow. He was in rough shape, and I didn't think he was going to hold out much longer. Despite my own exhaustion and injuries, I crawled over to my friend, trying to comfort him as best I could. Benny, stay with me, man. We're gonna get out of this, I swear.
Grimm, don't waste your breath. We've been here for days. No food, no water, and no chance of survival. I'm not gonna make it.
Unfortunately, he was right. But that didn't keep me from trying to get someone to come and help him. Help. Help! Help! Someone help me! Dear God, please someone help! And that's when the advisor showed up. The same monster who destroyed my sanity.
American soldiers, so proud, so strong, but even the strongest warriors crumble under the weight of time and hunger. Look at you, days without food, your bodies devouring themselves, muscles wasting away. Starvation. It is slow death, yes? Each moment your mind becomes a battlefield of desperation. Here, a gift. End your suffering. Your friend is dying anyway. So why let his flesh go to waste? If you want food, then you'll have to make do with whatever you find in whole.
I didn't want to give that bastard the satisfaction to let him see me break. I swore to myself I'd rather rot in that pit than become the monster he wanted me to be. But Benny died 2 days later, and I wasn't too far behind him. 5 days without any food will bring any man to the edge. I did what I had to do. You know, they say the mind bends and twists in order to deal with the horrors of life. But I think mine bent so much that it snapped in two. 2 weeks later, a platoon of GIs finally found me. They managed to pull me out of that godforsaken hole. I was covered in mud, and I reeked of death. They were horrified, but they didn't understand. But how could they? Benny's skull had become a part of me. My helmet, my reminder of what I had to do to survive. They thought they were saving me, but I was long past salvation. When one of them reached out to take Benny's skull from me, something inside me snapped.
You'll never beat me. That's your best soldier.
I didn't think, I just acted. I killed 4 of them. Just like that, my hands moved on their own, like the Grim Reaper himself had taken control. I couldn't let go. I wouldn't let go of Benny. But they eventually took me down. That's when they shipped me back to the States, locked me away in Blackfield Asylum, where the nightmares only got worse. 30 years behind those walls, and every second, the hunger grew, gnawed at me, twisted me even further. I tried to make sense of it, of why we had to suffer. I went through hell for a country that's long forgotten me. There's no honor, no glory, and no peace. Only empty nights with an endless hunger. It's almost like it was all for nothing. I lost my best friend because of that war. And here I am, talking to a ghost, a hallucination. My own mind playing tricks on me again. Maybe I'm just losing it. Maybe none of this is real at all. At least we're free now. No more padded cells, no more straitjackets, no more doctors trying to cage the monster I've become. 30 years locked away, twisted and broken, experimented on like an animal. Benny's skull was all I had left, all I could hold on to. My last piece of humanity, or maybe my first piece of madness. Benny, I never forgot. How could I?
We were just kids, Grimm. Sent to fight a war that wasn't ours. Turned into monsters by men who never cared about us. Do you think that makes us heroes?
I don't know, Benny. I don't know what else to do.
They took everything from us, Grimm. But even now, you're still looking for something. Some meaning, some end to the pain. But all I see is a man running from the shadows. You think becoming the Grim Reaper will fill that void? You think it'll make you whole?
But before I could answer, the apparition of Benny vanished into thin air. The gas. It was all in my head. And then I saw something. Grimm, meet me at the Abyss. I have something that you need. It's important. Sign, CK. The Abyss? That's all the way back in Midtown. Is anyone out here? I don't understand. What's going on here?
You must be Grimm. You're expected inside. The lieutenant's got a little package with your name on it. But be warned, the lights in there might mess with that dark little mind of yours. So watch your step, because the place can get real trippy.
As I stepped through the doorway into the Abyss, I was immediately struck by a barrage of flashing lights and a rhythmic bass line that shook the walls. The heavy beats of a distorted melody pulsed through the air. A pounding bass vibrated through my bones, causing me to become disoriented as the flickering lights casted shadows across a crowd of mindless dancers. Next thing I knew, I was dancing too. What is this place? It's like I've walked into the back corner of my own mind, the part I usually keep locked up tight. Shadows on the wall, faces I half recognize. None of it feels real. Feels like I'm not supposed to be here. Like I'm drifting through someone else's nightmare. Or maybe it's mine. The Abyss, a fitting name for this hellhole. A place that feels like it has no end, where faces look like nightmares I haven't woken up from. Maybe this isn't a club at all. Maybe it's something deeper, a place where all those memories, pieces of myself I tried to bury, come back to life. I need to find that lieutenant. So, I snapped myself out of it and ventured off to find whoever this CK was. I could feel every pulse of the base trying to drag me back under, twist my mind again, but I kept pushing through. Didn't matter what tricks this place wanted to play on me. I had a purpose, and I wasn't about to let some neon nightmare keep me from it. Eventually, I found the person I'd been looking for.
Oi, you must be the bloke Calypso was talking about. The one with the appetite, yeah?
The getup, the grin, everything about him was wrong. But this was the man, Calypso's lieutenant, club kid, or CK, here to hand me another piece to the puzzle.
This is for you, mate. For Calypso's eyes only, yeah? He says to deliver it safe and sound, and no peeking.
What's in it?
Trust me, mate. You don't want to know. Let's just say it's something he's been saving for a special moment. Something that'll keep you busy.
All right then. I'll be sure to bring it to him after I finish winning his contest, which I should really be getting back to now.
Good luck out there, mate. And remember, no peeking.
I took the box, feeling the weight of it in my hands, heavy and foreboding. The slight stench of decay radiating from it. CK told me not to look, so I kept my word. Whatever game Calypso was playing, I was in deep. And whatever was inside this box, I had a feeling it was about to drag me even deeper. Was over. Once again, I had won Calypso's game. After all the people that were killed in his contest, it was definitely worth the price. But now, it was my time to collect. So I made my way to Calypso's hideout with the package, only to be greeted by the little harbinger herself. That zipper chick again.
Oh, goody. You brought the package. Perfect. Calypso's waiting for you down below.
She led me down a rusty staircase descending into a manhole. The stench of decay filled the air, and dim lights flickered along the walls, casting eerie shadows. We were then greeted by Calypso, who had a devious smile on his face.
Ah, Mr. Grimm, congratulations on winning this year's contest. I knew you'd come through, and I see you've brought the package. Most excellent. Now, if you would be so kind as to hand it over, that would be greatly appreciated.
I handed Calypso the package. He proceeded to open it with that same devilish gleam in his eye. As he lifted the lid, a foul stench filled the air. Inside of it was a severed head, vacant eyes staring up at nothing, lips twisted in a final grimace. Calypso held it up, admiring it as if it were a treasure. I didn't understand it, but there was something about that severed head, something that had to matter. A head? That's what all this was about? What's so special about a severed head?
This is no ordinary head, Mr. Grimm. This belonged to someone who once held the very essence of death. A vessel tied to the Grim Reaper himself. With it, I can channel the power to grant your desire. Behold.
With a wave of his hand, Calypso managed to successfully grant my wish. And then, I felt it, my skin dissolving into bone. The hunger that had once gnawed at my very soul had now completely faded from existence. This wasn't just a change. It was a rebirth, an erasure. Every desire, every scrap of humanity stripped away, replaced with something colder, darker. My eyes were lit, igniting with an unholy glow as a dark cloak materialized around me. I was death. It was like a dream come true. My hunger, my pain, all of it washed away in an ocean of shadows. I'd finally become what I was meant to be.
Ah, look at you, Mr. Grimm. You wear it well. The cloak, the scythe, the bone beneath the flesh. All pieces of the Reaper himself. How does it feel?
It's everything I ever wanted. The hunger is gone, but there's an emptiness, a calling to collect souls, to seek out the damned and bring them to their final judgment. It's as if I can sense them waiting, hiding in every shadow.
Precisely, Mr. Grimm. The role of death suits you perfectly. But I wouldn't send my Reaper out there on just any old machine. No, I had to upgrade your ride. Consider it as a little bonus prize, a thank you for your dedication. Now that you are death incarnate, I have grand plans for you, Reaper. With your unique talents, you'll be an invaluable asset to me.
I ain't your pawn, Calypso.
Oh, come now. You have a calling, remember? A duty to collect souls.
Exactly. But I never said whose souls I'd collect. And a Reaper needs his first soul, don't you think?
Grimm, what are you doing?
My God! Master! You will pay for this! Take this, you freak! What gives? Why can't I kill you?
Because you can't kill death itself.
No, this isn't possible!
What's wrong, Angel? Do you fear the Reaper? I suggest you run. Tell the world their reckoning is here.
This isn't over.
Please don't kill me. Spare my life, Mr. Grimm. Have some mercy.
I let her go. The streets of Harbor City were calling. Now that Calypso's reign of terror has ended, the game is no longer his to play. It's my time to reap what's been left behind. My time to bring the harvest to those who've been hiding from their fate. It's time to reap some souls.